Hello everyone. This is Anish Verma, and you are listening to the Empower Your Mind for Success podcast. I made a commitment to one of my mentors that I will do a podcast for one full year every day, and this is day 3 of that journey. Yesterday, I spoke about my 5 business attempts, and I wanted to piggyback on that a little bit today and talk to you about a time in the early 2000s. I believe it was 2003-2004 time frame. I was working for one of the most prestigious companies in the US. It's a great job. I loved it. It was really good. And one day I came back home and parked my car in the carport and took my suitcase out of the car and started walking towards the condo. We lived in a 2-story condo, a 1500 square feet condo, the one that has 2 bedrooms upstairs or the top floor, and a kitchen and a main living room at the main level, and then we had a finished basement as well. I opened the door, got into the condo. My wife was not back from work as yet, and I filled a glass of water for myself and sat down on the couch next to the fireplace. And I was thinking to myself, that I want to be my own boss. I always had the entrepreneurial bug in me. I knew about that. I was loving my job too. But I was really thinking, why do I want to do a business? I mean, there are several ways of making money. Being a great employee is one. But for me, I think there was a desire to have more control on my time. And I guess there's a basic difference, right here in being in more control of your time versus making a lot of money. You see, we all come in this world with, limited amount of time. We don't know how much that is. But we take it for granted. With money, that's not the case. We have to go out and make money. With time, we always have it till we live. It is given to us 24 hours every day without asking for it. We have it as long as we stay healthy, I mean. So I was thinking to myself, if I want to gain more control of my time, then I have to do a business, and because that's the only way I could think of gaining more control. And you have already heard my 5 business attempts from the podcast yesterday. But that was the main thought. And I kept thinking about, my days when I was growing up in India. And I'd seen my father working for another prestigious company in India. And he spent most of his life at that company. Actually, it was his only second job, and he retired from that second job 40, 45, 50 years later. And I remember my mom talking very proudly about my dad's efforts. My mom was a homemaker, and I remember one day she was talking, how hard my dad worked for the money that he made. I guess she was teaching one of the life lessons to us, to me and my younger brother. And she said, there was a time when my dad didn't come home from work for 2 to 3 days in a row. I mean, he just slept at work. There was so much amount of work, and she was full of pride. I remember that moment because I still feel the pride my mom had in my father for that hard work. And I guess, like any son, I was wanting to model my dad, and I picked up on that. And I guess I started off as becoming a great employee. Actually, I was for my 21 years of my job, I was always in the top 1% employee pool. But having more control on time was critical to me, and that's when I started thinking about what's really the difference between having a control over time versus making money. And I guess that's where the difference comes in as to what type of work you do. You see, a job is basically trading your time for money. And there are a lot of people who are self-employed, and they do the same. They trade their time for money, maybe for a better hourly rate. but they make more money than an employee usually would. But when you are in control of your time, you find ways of making money even if you are not working day to day in that job. And if you can figure out a way to sever the connection between the amount of time spent in doing something as compared to the amount of money that you make for the time spent, that's when you have a business that is scalable and sustainable. If you can put yourself out of a job in your business, you have a successful business. That's when the business is sustainable and self-running. So that was something important to me, I believe, and that is why I wanted to have more control of my time. I always also heard, right, that family comes first, and you always do everything for your family. But when I was working, I spent countless hours away from family. Not sure if that is the case for you as well, but I spent a lot of time away from family doing work. I used to travel as well for my job, but even if I was not traveling, even when I was in and around my hometown, I spent a lot of time working. And I know what you're thinking. We all have to do that. We have to put food on the table, and I agree with you. I think that is the primary role of the breadwinner, right? You have to provide, whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter. So you have to provide and do the right thing to take care of your family. The time that I'm talking to you about was early 2000s. I was married, obviously, but didn't have children by then. So the point of time versus money became even more and more critical for me. And eventually I knew that any business that I would do would have to give more control on my time to me. And over the next few years, 10, 11 years later into it, after my fifth business attempt had ended with a disappointing end, I had also learned one more thing, that no matter what you do, whether it's a job or a business, unless you provide value to people or to your clients or to your stakeholders, you will not be able to sustain yourself. And that is especially true, in a coaching business or a mentoring business where you're helping people become more and more successful. And no value, no money. The more value you provide, the more money you can make. Actually, people will come to you themselves if you can provide value to them. So having more control on my time became important. And I believe some of you may relate to this, but that's why if we can build a business where we get more control of our time, where we can make more money for the same time spent, those are the business models that you should look at. And you should evaluate whether that's the right thing to do or not. To elaborate more on severing the connection between time spent and money made, I wanted to give you another example. You need to make a lot of money with minimal time. You have to think about asset-based business versus you-based business. See, when you're in a job or you're self-employed, a doctor, a lawyer, you are in a you-based business, right? You put in time, you get money. But when you are in an asset-based business, you make money by putting in the time, but you usually have to put in the time once. That's why investing in real estate, investing in stocks, investing in any kind of asset that you can build, whether physical or information-based asset, is very important. The more asset-based businesses you can build, the more money you can make. And I think given that the whole internet thing took off in the late 90s, you can see more proof of that today, right? If you think of Google or Amazon or WhatsApp or Facebook, Twitter. These are all asset-based businesses or platform-based businesses. The asset there is the platform, the technology that they're providing. Uber is a platform-based business as well, another asset-based business. So think about that, and when I realized that the way I could have more control on my time would mean for me to build asset-based businesses, that's when I started looking and evaluating those kind of businesses more. And I believe the belief that I had of what I am now going to do or I was going to do next grew, and I became more and more comfortable with the thought that I'm on the right path now, and after all my learning moments in the past. So I finally felt that I've achieved a plan in my mind that I now have to go and execute. And I went through this transformation journey where I realized that you have to provide more value to people. They will come to you. The more assets you build while providing the value to people, the better it is for you to have this business, and that will lead you to becoming your own boss in the right way, where you are controlling more of your time and making money. No point working countless hours and making $1 million, working countless hours and making $100,000 if you can't enjoy time with your family or the money that you made with your family. So asset-based businesses, the businesses that will give you more time, became my prime focus, and I can talk to you more about that, and I will in the next few podcasts. But something to think about: being your own boss is good, but how you go about doing it is more important. And I think that is where you will need help from people who have been there, done that, who could teach you the ropes to go about doing it. No point struggling by yourself. There are a lot of people out there. You just need to find them who will help you. So once again, I really believe this from every cell of my body, that you have unlimited potential. You just have to own it. So take care. Until the next episode. Talk soon.